And I opened the question for everybody by asking, the one we are often asking because we all seem to experience problems of various kinds. Everyone must have that. And because of habit and conditioning, we tend to go to the crime scene and to look, oh, this is happening and that thing is happening, and how can I stop that, and I don't like this, and so on. And you're seeking help and saying, how can I control this? What can I do to get out of this, and so on. And so I said, first of all, I'm not going to tackle the problem you are presently perceiving. Okay? What I want to do with you is to find out if the one who is asking for help right now, that voice is saying that my mind is like this, is this one or this voice, is it reliable? First thing. Not just what it is reporting about, but the voice itself. And you can listen also deeply. I would hope that you can listen and follow, because I don't have any wasted words to say today. That if this one who is believing these things or saying these things, is that a consistent standpoint? Is it reliable? Is it true? You see? And the voice is reporting, say, no, it is not reliable. Sometimes it feels very strongly about something this moment, and another moment it is gone onto something else. Then I ask, this is very good, but obviously to answer this question, that state must be observed and observable, to which the response came, yes, it can be seen now. In order to answer the question, if the one who is asking and saying, I have a problem, is this one reliable? Is this one true? The response came, it is not true. It is not reliable. Then I ask, that which perceives that that voice is not stable, not reliable, okay? Meaning from an observing place, if that one observes with detachment, okay, knowing that the voice that speaks and the claims it speaks about are variable, they are not stable. That which observes that, is that stable? Relative to what it is seeing, is the observer stable? And also to pay attention to the environment internally, your inner sense of being. When you're in the position to observe that the person that we formerly were speaking, that person and that position was not reliable, that place where that could be watched from, what is the environment like now? And the report is more peace, quiet, spacious. Just in a matter of a few minutes, the report, I said to them also, did you create this new state, this discovered state of peace? Where did you create it? Did you imagine it? And they could say, no, I don't imagine it. It's more that I'm seeing it, I'm discovering it. This is called the place of the witness or the observer, the place of consciousness. Everyone feels the feeling of I, but largely in this world, this I is claimed to be a person. But originally it is not a person, and in fact it is never a person. It is actually representing consciousness, the feeling I exist here as consciousness. But it was compelled to identify with the instrument, the body, which is necessary for this consciousness to enjoy or to taste experiencing. This must be understood. For largely most people, they are identified with the ego identity almost all our life. Some say lifetimes. And this ego identity, I have discovered, is a state of stress. It is unstable, insecure, temperamental, quick to feel fear and judgment, suspicion, needy, quick to be attached to things, to project and not able to control its projections. That is the state. But because largely we don't realize that there's a deeper space within us, we settle for feeling, well, this is my life and that's how it has to be. As soon as an opportunity comes to be invited to observe with detachment, and that rings true and you can relate to this guidance, space opens up in you and you begin to see from a deeper and purer place of consciousness. And just as soon as, not in 6 months, not in 6 days or another year, immediately you can see and experience this. You don't have to say, I believe this is true. You can confirm that this exists and it was not created. If I ask you now, I don't know if it is too early even to say this, but I asked it there and then, and I'm going to ask you now. Can you hear what I am speaking? I would appreciate some response from this. You understand that place. You are aware, even as I speak, that that exists in you. Okay? The first position of personhood, can I say, is that a function? Is that a movement and a function? It is a function, okay? It's very, lots of movement is there, instability, the sense of I, me is there also, that's there. Now in the new place that I've asked that if you leave that, don't try to fix anything there for a moment. So whatever your problem appears to be, I'm not going to ask you to try and do anything about the problem for the moment. But now just ask that you observe for a little bit and you see that you can observe. And that in observing you come to see I am not trapped actually in the bubble of that state anymore. I'm able to observe it. I'm out of that, observing from a deeper place. As soon as you can confirm, that old place is observable, and what can be observed cannot be the one who is observing. It may have some connection, but it cannot be essentially that which observes it. Then we come to the place of what I call consciousness or presence, impersonal presence. So just in the space of a few words and some guidance, there is a shift from person to presence. We have not killed person. We are not here to kill person, but to observe. It is a state that's observable from the place of presence. Now my question would come, that which is observing or witnessing the person and its world, that place of presence, is that also a function or not? Is the voices fading now? Is that also a function or not? Meaning, is that also witnessable? Let's be with what you say. If that is also witnessable, meaning that the witness is also observed. Where are you now? Just pay attention. Don't reach for words too quickly. Where are you now? To witness, the witness and the witnessing. Are you witnessing as an action? What is your environment? What is your environment like now? Yes, silence, almost unspeakable. Did you or are you creating this place? Are you sure you're not imagining it? Or you are in a state of hypnosis? So this, I was very happy that the beings listening could follow. Did you travel to this state? And if you are aware of this space, where did it come from? Did it come at all? Can I get some response from someone? No? Okay, I can change the subject if you want. Then I can begin to ask some few questions, because now at this stage I can hear your answers, because they will be true for me. From this place, if you were to fall asleep and wake up a few hours later or another day, is it possible that this that we are speaking of right now, that this would fade? Is it an object? Are there any opinions there? Is it commenting about life? No. Does it have any enemies? How about friends? No. Is there a place where is there any boundary beyond which it is not? Do you need a bit more time or not? Because your answers are coming very quickly. You don't have to think about it. Some of you may have to think about it. And then you go back to your mind. And then I ask, is this created, or was it born? Is it possible? Well, you already answered no. And then I ask, can it die? No. Now, how do you know that your words are true? Are they your opinion? Yeah. Therefore, I say this thing. You have discovered, you may not really realize what you are discovering, actually. Because the mind might come and say, oh, that's a nice little game. I know how to get that feeling again. So I want to ask you, is this a feeling? Is it a mood? No. Then may I ask, how close are you to it that you can speak like that? Very close or a bit far away? Pardon? I didn't hear it, huh? No distance. So if all the things you say are true, and my final question, how to get there? How do you get there? By what transportation? What's the distance to cover? You say no distance. Then all that you have been confirming is about yourself. Inseparable from yourself. How are you here in this space? Are there trees and rivers here? Am I only speaking to you at the front or what? Are there any buildings and beautiful trees and things there? No, just not. Then isn't it boring then? No. Are there any shapes there? What about you? Are you a shape there? You don't want to think about it? Then if your words are true for you, now, do you have any problem at all? And you're sure you're not just making it up? So, what is really more real? The world of the person and its existence and problems and past and present and future, which is more stable? That world, that space that we've just left momentarily, we have not destroyed. We've just said, I won't identify with that for a moment, just so that I'm not in a fight with myself. I can leave it for the moment in order to just be the looking. And now, at the looking as revealed here, now we are free to go back to our identity and its world and so on. How appealing is this to you? But there is something I want to say. It's not an end. It could also be a kind of beginning. Because you have seen and you see from the place of the real. But the mind is not over. It will come. By the momentum of habits, it will come. And it will test your seeing. And it can only disturb you if it manages to pull you into the state of personhood. Because when you go into the state of personhood, you take the drug of personhood, and everything in this realm will feel real again. But now with a difference, because you know that it is observable. And if you can continue looking and checking, just checking this place of my person, and it feels so real, it feels so intimate, it feels like it's flowing through my veins and it's breathing through my lungs. And yet, can it be essentially what I am if I'm able to observe it? If you can follow these steps of observing and trace back to this place of formlessness, then you are aware of yourself in spirit. And at the same time in form. And all that I would say to you is don't have the feeling, yeah, I'm awake and all this thing, because you are not yet. But continue with these visiting states from the mind and so on to keep confirming, because now you have the power and the capacity to see from the deepest place and to bring this state of erratic, confused, turbulent thinking and identity, to watch it from the place of your stillness and your silence. And that will have an effect, because the more you continue to confirm your true place, these lesser, more turbulent states will begin to slow down. Their power to influence your life or to give you the sense of, or to bring you into states of delusion, that will gradually be weakening and weakening as the power of in-seeing and confirming yourself in the place of pure consciousness begin to or feel more expansive. In reality, the self is not expanding. It fills everything, including the world that we see through our person and mind. That is a layer that we can also experience, and we feel we are there too. But now you have become aware of the deeper place of consciousness. When the mind comes, because I've told you, within each form of consciousness, you can say like this as a body, a system, There are these forces working. A force that works to keep you in a state of delusion, almost that it does not want you to discover the truth of yourself. There is a power there that works to keep your mind only living in the state of personhood and developing very, very negative tendencies that to keep you stuck in the body and in personhood. There is also another force, a higher power that is rising more and more in consciousness. And the more that your attention goes to this place, it is bringing you more into a state of formlessness and raising to higher altitudes the position of consciousness from person to presence to the Absolute. Are you aware of these forces or not? Yes.